shocking differences between Catherine, the Princess of Wales, and Meghan Markle have just been exposed in glorious detail.
Harry's essay in the New Statesman about anti-Semitism, that it was a deliberate attempt to sabotage Catherine's visit to Italy by snatching attention away from her.
Meghan and Harry are reportedly trying to control optics in public perception. Catherine's image has only grown stronger, especially with her trip to Italy.
Markle, her career is not in great shape, and their finances don't seem to be doing well either.
This woman doesn't have the right people around her, and even if she did, she wouldn't listen to them. And Catherine has the right people around her, and she listens. So this is why she's always going to come off much better than Meghan, because it's someone who is trying to get by with, looking a certain way and misses every single time. And Catherine is just really, truly there for the people. And when you see her, she always looks impeccable.
Meghan Markle just went through what many people are calling the roughest week she's had in a long time. And the wild part is this. Catherine didn't even have to say a word to make it happen. She simply arrived in Italy and suddenly all eyes were locked on her. And honestly, what happened in Italy shocked a lot of people. Catherine travelled to Reggio Emilia for her early years project, and the reaction around her visit exploded almost instantly. For people who don't really follow royal news, this project is deeply personal to Catherine. She spent years studying early childhood development, not because somebody pushed her into it or because it looked good for headlines.
Catherine's image has only grown stronger, especially with her trip to Italy. And the way this woman was received in Italy, the way she carried herself, the way this trip has shown so much goodwill and class.
But because she truly cares about how children grow and learn. She's gone through research papers, talked directly with specialists, visited education centres across different countries, and kept returning to one major belief. The first few years of a child's life can shape their entire future. That's exactly why she picked Reggio Emilia. The city is famous worldwide for its respected approach to early childhood education, and experts have praised the programme for decades, but nobody expected the scene that unfolded when she arrived. The crowds were massive. Some people reportedly travelled for hours just to catch a glimpse of her, and this wasn't some movie premiere or celebrity concert either. This was an event focused on child development and education, yet the excitement felt absolutely huge. Then came the moment that really got people talking. Catherine stepped out of the car completely on her own.
Really, this is the real story, because while Catherine outplayed Meghan, Catherine understood something Meghan never fully accepted. And that is, in the monarchy, longevity, discipline, restraint, public duty matter more than celebrity attention.
No Prince William standing beside her. No big royal distraction, just her walking into that crowd with total confidence. The cheers instantly erupted, and the energy in that place changed fast. Then she did something that caught even more attention. She sat down on the floor with the children and started interacting with them naturally. It was the easiest thing in the world. And when she began speaking Italian, people were stunned. Not basic phrases either. Real, fluent Italian. Many viewers had no idea she once lived in Florence before university, and suddenly social media lit up over it. But the biggest moment came from the kids themselves. The children didn't slowly walk over because adults told them to behave. They ran straight toward her with huge smiles and open arms.
Catherine in Italy, can you talk to me about her success? This will air on Friday. She's currently on day 2 of her trip to Italy. We saw her making pasta. We've seen her cuddled up with beautiful children, speaking Italian to them. It's really been just kind of an incredible experience to see her up and running. And it seems like feeling a lot better than she was a few years ago.
Completely comfortable around her, like they already knew her somehow. That reaction said more than any royal headline ever could. There's something very real about the way children react to people, and it's almost impossible to fake. Kids don't care about titles, press coverage, or carefully managed public images. They respond naturally, and in that room, every single child seemed drawn straight toward Catherine. That's one of the biggest reasons the Italy trip exploded across headlines afterward. By the time the visit ended, clips and photos were everywhere online. Royal commentators started calling it a major moment for Catherine's public image, with some even describing it as a turning point in how people now see her role moving forward. Royal historian Hugo Vickers, who has spent decades around the royal family, said the entire visit felt incredibly natural and meaningful in a way that certain royal appearances sometimes don't.
Meghan dropped a new as ever promo video on Monday afternoon, and the entire internet had the same reaction inside 9 minutes. The video is sold to the audience as a marmalade campaign or whatever she is selling. It's not marmalade, it's jam, right? Okay.
He chose his words carefully, but people instantly understood the comparison being hinted at. Meanwhile, while Catherine was receiving huge praise in Italy, things were playing out very differently over in Montecito, California. Around the exact same time Catherine was walking through cheering crowds in northern Italy, Meghan posted a promotional video connected to her As Ever brand, and the internet reaction turned chaotic almost immediately. Now, to be fair, there's nothing wrong with promoting a business. Celebrities and public figures do it all the time. But this particular video left a lot of viewers confused about the tone and message behind it. In the clip, Meghan appeared wearing a glamorous evening gown while slowly looking into the camera, touching her chest and sipping tea in a very dramatic style. The presentation felt highly polished and emotional, but many people online struggled to understand what kind of mood the video was trying to create. The comments section filled up fast with reactions ranging from confused to sarcastic.
Meghan Markle, she posted this very weird, sultry video. She's been posting all these videos where she's like rubbing her chest and she's looking real dramatic. And whenever you look at these clips, you can see why Meghan Markle never made it in Hollywood. Like, you know what I'm saying? You never made it in Hollywood. You can go on as many auditions as you want, Miss Duchess of Scamelot. It's just not happening for you, okay? I have seen better acting on reality television, and at this point, she's basically a reality television star.
One viewer joked that it felt like someone trying very hard to appear more mysterious and captivating than the audience actually perceived. Another person compared it to a screen test for a project that didn't exist. Those comments spread quickly online because they reflected a criticism that has followed Meghan for a while now. The growing disconnect between the image she wants to project and the way some audiences respond to it. Then things escalated again when Saturday Night Live entered the conversation. During the Weekend Update segment, the show made a joke connected to King Charles visiting the United States. As part of the comedy bit, Meghan was referenced in a harsh and controversial punchline. The audience reacted with laughter, and the show quickly moved on, but the clip immediately started circulating online and sparked even more debate around her public image. Saturday Night Live has built its entire reputation on making jokes about powerful people. Presidents, movie stars, billionaires, royals, world leaders. Nobody gets spared for long.
Look, she's touching herself. She's looking real dramatic. I don't know what the hell she's doing. This is the behavior of a severe narcissist, in my opinion, probably with sociopathic tendencies. It also looks like a woman who's going to be single soon. Like, it just looks like she's probably going to be single soon. She's really trying to ramp up the sex appeal, but she has the sex appeal of a bar of soap.
That's been the show's formula for decades, and viewers know almost everything eventually becomes comedy material. But according to reports coming from people close to Meghan, this joke hit a nerve in a major way. Sources claimed she was not just irritated or disappointed after the segment aired. She was genuinely furious. The reaction inside her camp was reportedly immediate, with discussions quickly turning serious behind the scenes. Then came the part that really surprised people. Insiders claimed NBC was instantly placed on Meghan's personal blacklist after the joke aired. According to those reports, she viewed the comedy segment as more than harmless television humour. She allegedly saw it as a targeted attempt to publicly embarrass her under the cover of entertainment and satire. What makes this especially interesting is that critics say
King Charles visited the U.S. to mark the 250th anniversary of American independence from Britain and to seek the release of a British hostage being held by an American terrorist.
this follows a pattern people have noticed before. over the years, several media outlets and journalists who published coverage viewed as negative or critical reportedly found themselves shut out afterward. Vanity Fair was one example often mentioned online, after relations appeared to cool following less favourable reporting. According to commentators, when Meghan feels personally attacked by media coverage, she tends to distance herself completely rather than publicly fight back. But this NBC situation feels much bigger than a disagreement with one magazine article. NBC is one of the largest television networks in the United States, and distancing yourself from a company that massive creates a very different kind of media problem. That's why some royal watchers and industry observers were shocked by how aggressively the situation reportedly escalated. What makes the timing even more complicated is Meghan's long connection with CBS. For years, CBS was viewed as one of her strongest media allies in America.
Do you think that's how Meghan Markle reacted? Well, not according to Rob Shooter, who has revealed that she is now boycotting NBC altogether as a result. And she cares about NBC a lot, because I remember when she was in the British royal family, she cared about the Today Show so much. And she would time a lot of her press releases to go out sort of lunchtime UK time, because she cared more about getting on the Today Show in America.
The Oprah interview aired there. Gayle King, who has publicly defended Harry and Meghan before, remains one of the network's biggest personalities. Many people saw CBS as a reliable space where Meghan could expect sympathetic coverage and support during difficult moments. But according to media analysts, the atmosphere at CBS has changed in recent years. Leadership shifts, corporate restructuring, and changes in late-night television have reportedly altered the network's overall direction. Some commentators now believe the network no longer feels as closely aligned with Harry and Meghan's public image as it once did. And that suddenly creates a much bigger question. If NBC is now reportedly off the table, and CBS is no longer viewed as the comfortable media safe zone it used to be, where exactly does Meghan go next when it comes to major American television exposure and influence? That question becomes even more intense once the financial side of the story enters the picture. Sources connected to Harry and Meghan.
Meghan Markle has a long memory, and insiders say NBC just landed on her permanent blacklist. I mean, she's not going to be able to go on any show then. Sources tell Naughty But Nice that Meghan is furious after Saturday Night Live referred to her as an American terrorist during Weekend Update, and now has no interest in playing nice with the network behind the jab. The line came during a royal family joke about King Charles. We obviously just saw it, didn't we? But the source says Meghan does not laugh when she feels publicly humiliated. She sees this as deliberate, cheap, and personal. And once she feels mocked, she shuts the door. Sources say the reaction inside her circle was immediate. NBC is out.
Have reportedly revealed details that explain a lot about the pressure surrounding their recent decisions, and the numbers are huge. According to multiple reports, the couple allegedly needs at least $6 million every single year just to maintain their current lifestyle in Montecito. And that figure is supposedly only the starting point, not luxury extras or surprise expenses. Just the basic yearly costs alone are said to be massive. The biggest expense reportedly comes from security. Around $3 million per year is believed to go toward private protection and safety arrangements by themselves. Then there's the mortgage and upkeep tied to their multi-million-dollar California property, which has been estimated around the $15 million mark. Once staff, travel, maintenance, and business expenses are added in, the financial pressure starts looking extremely serious very fast.
Her major ally has been the CBS network. Now, that is the network which broadcast her Oprah Winfrey interview. It is also the network where Gayle King, her friend and someone who is still considered to be part of her circle, broadcasts on CBS mornings and is quite a major force at the network.
That's where Meghan's As Ever lifestyle brand was expected to make a real difference. The product line, including jams, honey, candles, and other lifestyle items, was supposed to help create a profitable business identity outside the royal family. But according to online reactions and industry chatter, the rollout hasn't exactly gone smoothly. Some customers complained publicly about product quality issues, including reports of at least one candle arriving without a wick. Meanwhile, the orange marmalade became an unexpected source of jokes online, with social media users turning the product into a meme far faster than supporters expected. The larger criticism surrounding the brand is that it's generating headlines and viral discussion without producing the level of commercial success people assumed it would. Attention is one thing, but maintaining a lifestyle that reportedly costs millions every year requires enormous long-term revenue.
But, P. Diner, guess who isn't going to be there anymore? Stephen Colbert, who had been the late-night ally of Harry and Meghan and was sort of viewed as the voice of the network, you know, very anti-Trump, very much on the left, so for political reasons was pro-Harry and Meghan. But the problem is, P. Diner, he is not there anymore. The show is gone. The network has been sold to the Allisons, who is pro-Trump. The news side of it is now run by Barry Weiss of the Free Press, who you would not imagine is naturally a friend of Harry and Meghan Markle and their type of woke politics. I mean, she's pretty much considered anti-woke, Barry Weiss.
At the same time, several major entertainment projects have failed to create the momentum many predicted after Harry and Meghan stepped away from royal life. Their Spotify partnership ended. Netflix projects reportedly lost steam after initial excitement faded. Other media ventures haven't delivered the breakout success some industry insiders expected when the couple first arrived in California. For years, many believed Hollywood doors would instantly open for them, but critics now argue those opportunities have been far more limited than originally imagined. And there's a layer of irony here that people online keep pointing out. One of the biggest reasons Harry and Meghan gave for leaving royal duties was the desire for financial independence and freedom from royal control. They wanted to build their own path, secure major deals, and prove they could succeed entirely on their own terms.
Sources close to the couple say Harry, while focused on philanthropic work, is not bringing in much cash. Money is tight, the source added, and they need at least $6 million a year for operating expenses in the billionaire enclave of Montecito, California. As Page 6 revealed, the couple spends about $3 million of that on private security for the family, which includes Archie and Lilibet. I hate saying Lilibet. My mouth doesn't even want to do it. They also have to make mortgage payments on their $15 million mansion.
That was a huge part of the public message when they left. Now, according to reports, they allegedly need millions every year just to maintain the life they've built. But as complicated as the money situation appears, what's happening around the Invictus Games has become an even more sensitive conversation. For many people, Invictus was always viewed as the untouchable success story connected to Harry. No matter what critics thought about royal drama or celebrity interviews, a sporting event supporting wounded veterans carried real emotional importance and public respect. That's exactly why the growing controversy surrounding it has started making people deeply uncomfortable. The situation surrounding the Invictus Games has suddenly become far more serious than many people realized. One major sponsor after another has reportedly started stepping away.
Okay, who are probably spending above their means. And the great irony here, and how you know karma comes back around, part of the reason they left the royal family in the first place, part of the reason they left is because they did not want the king being in control of their finances. They thought they could do it better. They went and got huge checks from Netflix and did these brand deals and yada, yada, yada. She did With Love Meghan. They are probably barely getting by, in my opinion.
Boeing pulled out of Invictus 2027 completely, and that alone raised a lot of eyebrows. Then came reports that the Australian government withdrew nearly £5 million in funding following Harry and Meghan's visit there. For many observers, that was another major warning sign. What shocked people even more was renewed attention on the organisation's financial struggles. Invictus reportedly went through bankruptcy proceedings back in 2023, but at the time, the story didn't receive the level of public attention many now believe it deserved. Since then, questions surrounding funding, sponsorship stability and long-term stability have only grown louder. Meanwhile, the UK government has committed around £26 million in public funding to help keep the games operating. That number sparked intense reactions online, especially among British taxpayers questioning why such a large amount of public money is being directed toward an organisation critics say is struggling financially and losing corporate backing. And then another controversy hit the conversation hard. Author Tom Bauer claimed in his recent book that funds connected to Invictus were allegedly being used toward luxury travel expenses, including private jets, expensive hotels, and travel arrangements linked to Harry and Meghan themselves. Those allegations have been publicly disputed, and no official wrongdoing has been established.
Sounds like the Wounded Warrior Games. And people think, oh, this must be great. And a lot of people are unclear how to read a tax return or to check stats. And so I think it was just very easy to say, oh, the Invictus Games, it's great. It does all this. Now, Boeing has, I believe, cut ties. I am doing that story for News Nation. It'll come out later today about how Boeing was the huge sponsor. The contract has ended and they are not re-signing.
Still, the claims spread rapidly online and added even more pressure to an already tense situation. At the same time, many donors and longtime supporters appear increasingly concerned about the direction of the Games. For a huge number of people in the UK, support for wounded veterans carries deep emotional importance. That's why some critics have become frustrated by what they see as growing attention on celebrity image and media drama surrounding Harry and Meghan, instead of the veterans the event was originally designed to support. For those critics, that shift feels deeply disappointing, and in some cases genuinely upsetting. Then came another moment that triggered intense debate. On the same day, King Charles visited Golders Green to quietly meet members of the Jewish community following recent attacks. An essay connected to Prince Harry appeared in the New Statesman discussing anti-Semitism in Britain. The timing immediately drew attention online. Former Royal Press Secretary Dickie Arbiter, who worked for Queen Elizabeth II for years, publicly criticised the situation. He described the move as contrived, arguing that the release timing felt highly calculated rather than accidental. According to Arbiter, the overlap between King Charles carrying out community-focused engagements and Harry's published essay created the appearance of competing public narratives unfolding at the exact same moment. That criticism quickly spread across royal commentary circles and added yet another layer to an already chaotic week surrounding Harry, Meghan, and the growing scrutiny around their public image. At this point, very few people who closely follow Prince Harry actually believe he personally wrote that essay from start to finish. Critics immediately focused on the tone and structure of the piece. The language sounded extremely polished, carefully framed, and politically strategic. To many royal watchers, it felt completely different from Harry's usual public speaking style, or even the emotional, messy storytelling people saw in his memoir.
Invictus Games has suffered its greatest blow yet, and that is a decision by Australia to remove all funding from their team. This is huge. This is massive.
That's why some commentators quickly argued the essay sounded more like the work of a professional communications team than a personal reflection written entirely by Harry himself. According to analysts following the situation, the strategy behind it appeared to serve two clear purposes. First, attaching Harry's name to a serious issue like anti-Semitism could help strengthen his public relevance during a difficult media period. Second, some critics believed the timing was designed to redirect attention away from Catherine's highly praised Italy trip, which had been dominating headlines and social media discussions all week. But if that was the goal, many observers argue it completely backfired. The Jewish Chronicle published a detailed response criticising parts of the argument and questioning the overall framing of the essay. Royal commentators also piled into the debate, asking why Harry, who no longer lives in Britain and has no official public role there, was stepping into such a politically sensitive discussion through a magazine platform. Some critics also revisited past controversies tied to Harry's public image, arguing that those moments complicated his authority on the issue. Online debate exploded almost instantly, with supporters and critics battling across social media and television panels for days. Yet for many viewers, the most striking part wasn't the essay itself, it was the comparison happening at the exact same time. While Harry's article circulated online, King Charles was physically visiting Golders Green and quietly meeting members of the Jewish community following recent attacks. No dramatic headlines, no personal branding campaign, no media spectacle attached to it, just direct engagement with people affected by the situation. That contrast became a major talking point very quickly, And honestly, when you look at the bigger picture, all these recent moves seem connected in one important way. The essay, the reported NBC fallout, the dramatic brand videos, even the renewed speculation surrounding possible public image, resets and relationship storytelling.
Of course, Tom Bauer in his recent book Betrayal alleged that Invictus funds were directed towards private jets, 5-star hotels, and transportation for Harry and Meghan.
Critics argue they all point toward the same thing, an effort to regain control of a public narrative that increasingly feels unstable. Meanwhile, the images coming out of Italy told a completely different story. Catherine looked calm, comfortable, and completely natural while surrounded by crowds of people who travelled hours just to see her. There was no visible desperation to force attention or dominate headlines. People often say she makes public life look effortless, and in many ways she does. But what sometimes gets ignored is the enormous amount of pressure she has handled for years behind the scenes. Long before she officially married William, paparazzi were already camped outside her apartment.
Social media dissected her marriage, her health, her appearance, even her whereabouts, with a level of entitlement that at times became genuinely disturbing. And yet through it all, she still refused to turn herself into a victim. That is what makes Catherine different from so many modern public figures. She never rushed to share her diagnosis. She and William clearly wanted to handle it privately as a family first, especially for the sake of their young children. But the frenzy of speculation and conspiracy theories eventually left her with little choice but to speak publicly.
She faced years of invasive tabloid coverage, constant criticism about her appearance, her clothing, her family, and even her facial expressions. Private moments became public entertainment. Her phone was reportedly hacked. Personal photos were published without consent. Rumours and speculation followed her constantly for more than a decade. Then came one of the hardest periods of all. While privately undergoing cancer treatment last year, Catherine's absence from public life triggered a wave of online conspiracy theories and non-stop speculation. Social media users demanded explanations about her health and whereabouts, even while she was dealing with an incredibly serious personal situation. And through every single controversy, public attack, and invasion of privacy, she never gave a revenge interview, never launched public attacks against family members, and never appeared to use emotional media campaigns to damage someone else's image. That silence ended up speaking louder than almost anything else. When Catherine finally spoke publicly about her cancer diagnosis, the reaction was completely different from the chaos surrounding the rumours before it. The video was short, calm, and incredibly measured. There was no dramatic performance, no emotional spectacle, no attempt to turn herself into the centre of a giant media storm. She simply thanked her medical team, explained that she and William wanted time to process everything privately as a family, especially for the sake of their children, and then she focused on something bigger than herself. Her message was simple but powerful. You are not alone. That line hit people hard because it shifted the attention toward others.
She eventually addressed the speculation in a short, calm video revealing her cancer diagnosis. No tears for the camera, no dramatic victim narrative, just quiet honesty. It had come as a huge shock. They had been processing it privately, and she was grateful to her medical team. Then in true Catherine fashion, she turned her focus outward. You are not alone.
Facing similar battles, instead of asking the public for sympathy. For many viewers, it felt genuine, personal, and deeply human in a way that connected instantly. So when Catherine later returned to full public duties and travelled alone to Italy, the huge crowds waiting for her weren't reacting to some flashy marketing campaign or carefully staged publicity strategy. People were responding to something built slowly over nearly 20 years. Consistency. That's what many royal commentators believe separates Catherine from Meghan in the eyes of the public. No matter how many lifestyle launches, media partnerships, interviews, or polished videos appear online, critics argue it's impossible to artificially recreate decades of steady public behaviour overnight. People tend to notice when someone remains calm under pressure, avoids public feuds, and continues showing up without constantly demanding attention in return.
When discussing her recovery, she focused more on encouraging others facing cancer than turning herself into the centre of the story. No warrior branding, no demand for the world to revolve around her pain, just honest perspective and quiet empathy. This isn't new behaviour for her. For over 20 years, she has faced intense scrutiny. Paparazzi camped outside her flat long before she married William, topless photos published without consent in 2012, phone hacking, endless commentary about her weight, her clothes, her expressions, her family. Through all of it, she has responded with the same steady grace.
According to those critics, that kind of long-term trust cannot simply be manufactured through branding alone. Now, attention has shifted toward what Meghan's next move could reportedly be. According to insider reports, discussions are allegedly happening around a possible vow renewal ceremony for Harry and Meghan. The reported framing behind the idea is that the couple never truly received the wedding experience they wanted because of tensions and pressures connected to royal life, and that renewing their vows could allow them to finally celebrate their relationship on their own terms. That idea immediately triggered strong reactions online. After all, Harry and Meghan's original royal wedding was one of the biggest televised events in the world at the time, watched by millions globally. Critics quickly questioned how an event that massive could now be reframed as somehow incomplete or unsatisfying. But according to some insiders, the real motivation may have less to do with romance and more to do with media business opportunities.
Harry is allegedly trying to negotiate special treatment and respect for Meghan ahead of a possible UK return that is tied to the Invictus Game event.
A vow renewal creates headlines. It creates photographs, interviews, streaming possibilities, magazine deals, licensing opportunities, and potentially another documentary-style project that could generate major public attention and revenue at a time when other business ventures reportedly aren't delivering the same results. At the exact same time, reports also claim Harry has been in discussions connected to a possible future UK return for Invictus events. According to those reports, negotiations allegedly involve requests surrounding security arrangements, public treatment, and guarantees that Meghan would receive a respectful reception if they return. That detail alone has added even more tension to an already complicated situation. Respect is not something people can demand into existence, and deep down, everybody already knows that. Real respect is earned slowly over time. It comes from years of showing up, staying consistent, doing the work, and not turning every single moment into a performance about yourself. That's why so many people believe Catherine's public support feels different. She has never needed to ask people to admire her or defend her publicly. Over time, that respect simply built naturally through the way she carried herself. And now, another major moment is approaching fast. Australia. William and Catherine are preparing for their upcoming Australia trip, and royal watchers are already paying very close attention.
We see her in Italy. She's only had 2 outfit changes since in Italy. Loved by the children. Thousands of people have showed up to see her, all by herself. It's not like she's there with William. No, they showed up just to see Catherine, just to get a glimpse, to shake her hand. And the effects of the people, the positive PR has, I believe...
Anyone who remembers Harry and Meghan's visit there years ago probably also remembers the controversy that followed afterward. Reports about tensions, criticism surrounding costs and funding, and constant headlines focused on drama instead of the actual purpose of the tour created a storm that lasted long after the trip ended. That's exactly why this next visit matters so much, because William and Catherine are unlikely to respond to any of the noise directly. They probably won't mention Harry and Meghan publicly. They won't throw shots in interviews or release dramatic statements. Instead, they'll most likely do what they always do: quietly show up, meet people, focus on the events in front of them, and let the public form its own conclusions. And honestly, that contrast has become impossible for many people to ignore. One of the biggest misunderstandings critics believe Meghan had from the very beginning is thinking the monarchy operates like celebrity culture. In Hollywood, visibility is power. Attention is everything. But the royal institution survives differently. It doesn't usually fight every public battle head-on.
Really hurt Meghan in what she tried to do with Harry in Australia. Not to mention that Catherine and William will be going to Australia to show what real royalty is able to put out. Because when you look closely at Catherine and her tour in Italy, it looks completely different than how you see Harry and Meghan, because when you watch Harry and Meghan, what do you see? You see a couple trying to get the shot. Did you get the shot of me taking a picture with the sick children? Did you get the shot of me looking at the people that showed up that we made sure would show up? Did you get the shot of the clothes that I'm selling on my website?
It keeps moving, keeps appearing at events, keeps carrying out duties, and over time the comparison between different public figures starts speaking for itself. That's why many commentators now see Catherine and Meghan as representing two completely different paths. According to those critics, Meghan spent years trying to become the standout celebrity star connected to the monarchy, while Catherine quietly focused on becoming a long-term future queen figure people could trust. And those are very different roles with very different outcomes. Stars can dominate headlines for a season, but institutions survive by building stability across decades. That's why the Italy trip hit people so strongly. A woman standing alone in a foreign country, speaking fluent Italian, sitting on the floor with children who instantly ran toward her without hesitation, while huge crowds filled the streets after traveling hours just to see her. That image landed powerfully across the world. To supporters, it didn't look like a staged publicity campaign. It looked like the result of 20 years spent building trust quietly and steadily in public life. And that's why so many people believe no dramatic rebrand, no media feud, no carefully produced video, and no headline-grabbing project can easily compete with what those images represented. Now all eyes are turning toward Australia, because if the Italy visit created this much conversation, people are already wondering what happens next. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, subscribe, and share it with anyone following the royal drama closely. And definitely leave a comment below. Whose approach do you think the public connects with more right now, Catherine's or Meghan's?